Hello Hampton 4th graders, this is Ms. Vance and I'm going to bring you your lesson today on units of measure. We have two types of measurement systems that we use in the United States. The first one is the customary system. The customary is units of measure used in the United States. We're almost the only country that uses this system. And the second one is the metric system. The metric system is used by most of the world, units used by most of the world. And they use it in science, so that's why we still need it in the United States, and it also helps us function when we have to deal outside of the United States. So we have two types of systems, of course, and then we have three types of measurement in each. Time is the same wherever you go, and we have capacity, mass, and length. Of course, your length is distance, capacity is how much fluid something will hold, and mass is how much something weighs. So when we talk about units of measurements, we get benchmarks about how much that measure is. And so the first one we're going to do length, and it is an inch. An inch is about the length of a small paper clip. It's also, if you take your thumb, it's from the top to the first knuckle. That is about an inch. So if I do like that, that's about an inch. The next one is a foot. A foot is about the length of a piece of paper. All paper is standardized usually, and that we're actually about 11 inches, so it's close to a foot when you're estimating. And a yard is about the height of your countertops in your kitchen. The next one is the capacity. So the small one is a fluid ounce. Fluid ounce is about what you would see if you take medicine, those little cups of medicine. That's a fluid ounce usually. And a cup is next, and that's about the amount of liquid that fits into a coffee cup. And a pint is that about the carton of milk you get in the cafeteria at lunch. And a quart, we don't see quarts of milk too often anymore, but they're out there, and actually it's about how much liquid you'd find in a pitcher. Like if you make Kool-Aid, that makes about a quart. And the biggest one in capacity is a gallon, and that is exactly the big carton of milk. That is a gallon of milk. And for weight or mass, an ounce is about the weight of a slice of bread, and a pound is about the weight of a loaf of bread. If you look at the label, it'll tell you it's 16 ounces to a pound. And the one that's not mentioned here is a ton, and that's the real heavy. Nobody can lift a ton. It's like an elephant. And so when we talk about the metric system, the one we are not quite as familiar with, but we still have the same three types of measurement in length, capacity, and mass or weight. And a millimeter is about the width of a dime or your fingernail. It's really small. It's that, if you look at your ruler, it's that real small, the real small lines on your ruler on the metric side. Then we get to a centimeter. It is about the width of a paper clip or about the width of your pinky. The next one is a meter. It's the height of a chair or the width of a doorway. And the longest length is a kilometer. and that's one's comparable to a mile, and it's about 4 city blocks, and it'll take you about 10 minutes to walk a kilometer. Next, we have the milliliter. The milliliter is, if you see a dropper of medicine, that is about a milliliter. And of course, a liter, you've seen liter-sized soda, so that's about how much capacity a liter is. And a gram, I see we have a lot of paper clips, but it's about the weight of a paper clip. It's not very heavy at all. And a kilogram is about the weight of a book. That's the heaviest measure. Actually, kilo means 1,000, so it's saying it's 1,000 grams. So not a very big book, but it is about the weight of a book. So those are our benchmarks that we use. And a benchmark, of course, here's your vocabulary, is a common object with a measurement close to some unit. So let's look at our examples now. Marcus bought a new watch. Use customary units of length to estimate the width of a watch. Well, we can see it's not the length of a paper, so a foot would be too much. A yard would be way too much. So we're going to look about, it looks like it's about, I would use inches to measure that. So we're going to take our benchmark. It says a paper clip. I'm going to use my thumb because it's easier. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's close to 7. So I would call that about 7 inches. Let's look at our next example. Jamie is a judge in a pumpkin growing contest. She needs to find the mass of the pumpkins. She begins with the pumpkin below. What is the mass of this pumpkin? So we're going to use either a gram or a book, and you think about how much a pumpkin weighs. Which would you use? Well, they could be kind of heavy. A big pumpkin is pretty heavy, so I'm going to say I'm going to use the kilogram. And I would put it on there, and it's probably, this one measured it. So usually they ask you how much would it weigh, or which unit would you use to measure it. I would use kilograms. So when you weigh it, it's about 9.8 kilograms, about 10 kilograms. Our third example. Steve estimates the water bottle holds 2 quarts of water. Is Stevie's estimate reasonable? So remember, a quart, they show you down here, but it's about a pitcher. Could you think we get a whole pitcher of liquid into a bottle? Probably not. We probably would use pints or cups to measure what could fit in a bottle. So I would say a quart was too heavy. So Steve's estimate is not reasonable. Let's look at some practice problems. Ben used a scale to find the mass of a quarter. Choose a number that makes a statement reasonable. The mass of Ben's quarter is about how many grams? Quarter is not that heavy. So remember our grams, the benchmark we used was the weight of a paper clip. So I'm sure 6,000 would be way too many. 600. So we have 6, maybe 60. So let's think, is it quarter's not that heavy. So it is probably closer to 6 grams. Number 2, Gail is measuring the length of her classroom. Which is the most reasonable measurement for her classroom? Well, we know inches. Is about your thumb, so that'd be too small. 3 feet. Remember, 3 feet is a yard, about a height of a counter. Nope, that would be too short. 30 inches. That is still less than 3 feet, so I would take that one is not it. So 30 feet. 30 feet would probably be your most reasonable estimate. Choose a unit of measure that makes the statement reasonable. Juan's cell phone is 5 blank long. So do you think the cell phone would be 5 feet long? Remember, it's the length of a piece of paper. So 5 feet, no. 5 inches, that's reasonable. They seem to be getting bigger these days, but that's kind of reasonable. A kilometer, remember, that's like 4 city blocks, so no. And yards, 5 yards, that's way too long. So B would be our correct unit. Choose the unit of measure that makes the statement reasonable. Lee Kang's bike is 5 what blank long. Centimeters, remember, centimeters about the width of your pinky. A bike, that'd be a pretty small bike. 5 feet, that's pretty reasonable. We're probably all close to 5, well, most of us are close to 5 feet long and tall. So inches, 5 inches. So that'd be 5 of your knuckles. She couldn't ride that. And 5 meters. Remember, your meters are the width of your door. Do you think a bike would be 5 doors wide? Probably not, but meters would be a unit we could measure that in. But since it has the number 5, 5 feet long is probably the most reasonable. Eli is making plaster for an art project. He fills a measuring cup with the amount of water he needs to mix with the dry plaster. How much water did Eli put in the measuring cup? So it gives us a line right here. It's between 400 and 500 milliliters. So it's not exactly at 400, it's not exactly at 500. It's between these two. Somewhere in the middle. It's probably, looks like it's right exactly at 450 milliliters. Okay, which unit is a unit of mass? Mass is weight. An ounce, it could be mass. Pound. Kilogram, that's mass. And liter. I think this problem is written wrong. It should probably say not, because all 3 of these are mass. So it was probably meant to be D. Let's just do a couple more. It says, which statement cannot be true? Looking for that word not. The capacity of a bathtub is 5,000 gallons. That's pretty big. You know, A gas tank of a car might hold 15 to 20, depending on how big your car is. So 5,000 gallons, that's a whole lot of liquid, so I would say no. That could be it, since we're looking for not true. The capacity of a water pitcher is 2 quarts. That's probably true. The capacity of a soup bowl is 2 cups. Soup bowls are pretty, yeah, it's probably true. The capacity of a large aquarium is 48 gallons. That's probably true too, because I know they have 50-gallon tanks, 110, so it could be true. So the correct answer is A. Again, which statement is true? This time we're looking for true. 1 yard is less than 1 inch. Well, we know it's bigger, so no. 1 pint is less than 1 cup. That is true. 1 gram is less than 1 kilogram. Oh no, that's not. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. The cup is smaller than the pint. And 1 gallon is less than 1 pint. So your correct answer is C. So we are looking for reasonable. I will post your measurement benchmarks on Class Dojo. If you have any questions, send me a message on Class Dojo or email me at kvance@uplifteducation.org. Hope to see y'all soon.